Do you miss slide canceling and bunny hopping to the point of breaking your controller? Warzone 2's gameplay mechanics just aren't doing it for you? You may want to check out the new Fortnite update to scratch that itch. The game's changed so much over the last year, and this Chapter 4 update from a few days ago added more movement options to No Builds and overhauled the graphics. If you're cringing or rolling your eyes at the sound of Fortnite, listen. I was the same exact way. I actually never played a game of Fortnite before a few months ago. The graphics, the whole building aspect to it, and just the gameplay in general didn't appeal to me whatsoever. The building mechanic removal is the reason I play Fortnite now, but on the topic of graphics, one of the major feature of the newest update was this graphics overhaul. You can see the game looks way more polished. It looks more like a next-gen game, and that's because they're using this form of ray tracing lighting that's a bit more optimized so it can run on systems easier, because ray tracing is super intensive to run, and that's why the game has this like glowy look to it. It has more of a realistic look. It still has like that Fortnite, you know, cartoony-esque feel, but the environments themselves look more realistic. The water has some like realism bit to it, and the lighting looks way more natural. The changes are subtle at first, but I'm loving it the more and more I play. Another thing this update added, actually I just whipped out right here, are the Shockwave Hammers that will move you across the map faster than Warzone movement ever could. Each of these hammers will hold 4 charges that will recharge after you use them over time, but you can use these to just propel yourself across the map at a really fast pace. I like to use these to get in and out of gunfights that you'll see me do throughout this gameplay. And I also learned that you can carry multiple of these hammers, so you can load up on like an SMG and 2 shotguns, have 2 hammers, and just be flying across the map constantly, and third party every single fight, rack up your kills, and they also make a loud noise when you use them, so other sweaty players will hear that noise and also come charging to you. So there's an easy way to get action-packed gameplay in this newest update. As I mentioned earlier, I just started playing Fortnite, I guess it would have been April earlier this year, and apparently all this new movement sprinting stuff is new to the game as well. If you've played this before and are just seeing more gameplay of it now. They added all this stuff with no builds, because without any new mechanic, you'd just be stuck walking around, and that's not fun. So with the introduction of no builds, they've added sprint, sliding, jumping, and mantling, which are all tied to an energy bar you'll see pop up above the health and shield bar at the lower left hand corner. Obviously it's not there now because I'm not sprinting, but auto mantle was added to Chapter 4, and that doesn't even deplete your energy bar, which is a godsend. And I swear they decrease the amount of energy it takes to sprint and perform all these other functions, which is nice because it lets you move around the map more freely, especially for a seasoned Call of Duty player like myself who's used to having infinite sprint in most of their games nowadays. Which reminds me, I was going to mention this earlier in the video, but part of me wonders if they are trying to capitalize on the zero build and like movement stuff and adding, you know, some first-person aim down sight guns because of the whole Warzone 2 versus Warzone 1 debate. You know, some players love the older movement mechanics and slide canceling and stuff. Other players like myself could do without it, and you know, it was a bug in the first place and didn't really belong in Call of Duty. I think, you know, if you want something like that, we should have another Black Ops or Infinite Warfare style game with advanced movement. But stuff like Modern Warfare and other classic Call of Duty games we had the past couple of years, I could do without. Be interesting to see if Fortnite adds a first-person mode with the next season update or something like that to capitalize on that. That'd be interesting. One other thing they added with this new update is almost like a perk system from Call of Duty. It actually kind of works like how Call of Duty's multiplayer perks work. They're called augmentations, and you'll earn them throughout like the first half of the match. I don't know if they're on a strictly time basis or getting kills or doing objectives or whatever will speed up the earn rate faster, but you earn up to 4 of these augmentations and you'll keep them throughout the match once you activate them. There's perks like regenerating energy faster after you mantle, or dealing extra damage on your first shot from assault rifles, having faster reload speeds, you know, kind of like standard perks you'd see in other shooter type games. I thought it was a weird addition at first and like just a gimmick for the beginning of the season, but I like them the more and more I use it. It helps speed up the pace of the gameplay alongside the Shockwave Hammers and all the other movement stuff, and it's really fleshing. I don't know how any of this stuff is working in the standard build mode. I don't want anything to do with the standard build. It still does not appeal to me whatsoever. I don't care to learn it. I don't care to do any of that stuff. So I'm just speaking in strictly zero build terms, but it definitely is speeding up the game to a healthy pace and lets you just be more aggressive without having to rely on items like the Shockwave Hammer, which could get bolted, you know, a month from now. You don't have to wait for Shockwave grenades or other things that are similar to stim shots, we'll say, in Call of Duty, which helps speed up the pace of things. I just find it interesting how similar the two games, Call of Duty and Fortnite, are getting in terms of Battle Royale. Because Fortnite was a completely different game before with the building. Now there's zero builds. They're adding all these movement mechanics that feel more Call of Duty-like. Call of Duty itself has added a third-person mode, and have reworked the core mechanics of Warzone, which some people are liking, some people are taking their time to get used to it, some people just absolutely hate it. And that's what I find interesting, is Fortnite's literally adding new stuff and freshening the game up every week, and all the changes work well in both like building and no building, where Call of Duty is brute forcing all their changes, and if you don't like it, they don't offer much else for you to play. I'm also fascinated by this whole Unreal Engine upgrade that Fortnite pulled off. They changed their game significantly, and you try to do that on any other game engine these days, that's just not going to happen with how they pretty much ported over all their assets, and things are working just fine. That's one of the whole new perks of this Unreal Engine 5.1 that people are trying to start transitioning to. Fortnite is actually the first game to utilize Unreal Engine 5.1, and it's really cool to see. I wonder if Call of Duty and, you know, DICE, all these other developers that have their own versions of engines, are trying to modify their engines so they can support live service like games moving forward, since that seems to be what every game developer and their grandmas are trying to shift towards. Problem is, as we've seen in Call of Duty recently with Warzone 1 and our cosmetics and everything being left behind, long-term support for games and moving things forward isn't easy with the way their engines are built. That's not just Call of Duty, that's a majority of the gaming industry. I'd love to talk about that topic more, trust me, but we're running out of time. I said months ago that I wanted to do a couple Fortnite videos, so here's that Fortnite video. This new update is actually something I really want to talk about, and I also needed some more time to work on my weapon tuning video for Modern Warfare 2 and Warzone 2. That should be up a couple days from now. So please don't forget to like this video, consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.